let's call this meeting to order. And I'm gonna ask for approval of the May 14th minutes.
Second.
All right, very good. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. Looks like there's nobody here. I don't think that's ever happened. So, okay, no public comment today. So we're gonna go right down to item 4, the Parks Capital Improvement Project update.
Yeah, so I just wanted to take a little bit of time tonight to walk you through where we're at on our current projects, kind of give you an update on what we'll be proposing. We're just getting ready to go into our next budget season. Staff starts their input probably in the next few weeks. We usually do capital budgets first and then operating budgets. So I just want to remind everyone where we're at. The capital projects are their larger projects, the building and construction projects. So first one, of course, City Park Pool. It is moving along well. You see a picture of it. If you haven't been up there, I would drive by. Everything is demolished. They've got the pool hollowed out. I don't know if they got to the filter house today or not, but the foundation work is starting. They were able to take all of the concrete from the pool and they were able to crush it, sort it on site, and then reuse it as structural fill underneath the new pool. So that saved a lot of stuff going to the landfill, so I think that's exciting. It was a really cool machine. It had the crusher and it had 2 different magnets that, there's a video of it on our Facebook page if you want to watch it, but the magnets captured any kind of debris that came through and sorted it out so that the concrete was structurally sound and good. So that's been good. So far on schedule, a few minor change orders, but nothing to write home about. It's just moving forward as we expected. Is there any questions on City Park Pool before we move on? Get you started. In a few months, we'll be back to you to start talking about hours of operation and policies and procedures. We're starting to get public questions about that, so that will be something that the commission will weigh in on in the next few months as we get ready for next summer. Yeah, Brian?
How late in the year do you think they'll be able to work on the pool? Is there a certain point they'll have to just...
It just all depends on the weather. The idea, though, would be to get the building up and enclosed, because then they could work all year. They'll get the outside of the building done and then spend the winter doing everything on the inside of the 2 buildings. So there'll be work going on throughout the season, but I think they're hoping to get most of the cement on the pools poured yet this fall. Yeah. Okay, not moving along as well is our Terrell Mill roller park, the skate park updates that we've talked about for quite a while. This is held up at the federal level. We have money coming from the National Park Service in the form of a Land and Water Conservation Fund grant. It's still held up. They are working on it. I still get updates every few weeks, and they've asked for a little information here and there, so I know that it's still in the pipeline. It hasn't been abandoned yet as far as the federal funding. We also don't have the authority to go forward on it until we get that. So it's on hold now, which means we won't bid it yet this summer. It'll probably be a year delay at least at this point on that project. Our 4 summer park projects happening are also kind of in a delay point at this right now. We have renovations happening at College Green Park just down the street, at Calder Park on the east side, at Brooklyn Park on the west side, and then the new park, Adelaide Joy Rogers Park. We were supposed to be seeing substantial completion by next week. If you've been out there, that has not happened. We have been in constant contact with the contractor. He's having issues with one of his subcontractors, getting them on site to do the work that needs to be done. Final completion isn't required until the middle of September. So there's still time, because none of these 4 projects are extremely complicated. So there's still hope that they will get them done. But unfortunately, what that's meant is that those 4 parks have been behind fence all summer long. So you can imagine we've gotten a lot of calls and emails and comments from the residents around them, and all we can do is apologize at this point. And we bid them the way we bid them, with kind of a long project window to bring the prices down, because if we had a short window and said you only have 2 or 3 weeks on a project, the bid price typically goes up. We also try to, generally we put them together, so that's why all 4 parks were bid as a group. Once again, to give them kind of that critical mass for an actual good bid from a larger company. That's our strategy behind the way we do this. Unfortunately, in this case, that means we've got 4 parks that are equally torn up and not much happening in them. So if you hear that from people, have them get in contact with me. I don't have much to say other than what I just said. They haven't breached contract yet, but they haven't finished the projects either. So that's
What
right.
happens if they don't reach in time, if they don't get it done in time?
Yeah, then it'll be winter. Nothing will happen over the winter. We'll either have to rebid to another contractor or start doing, do more of the work on our own or something like that.
Have we used this contractor before?
The general contractor, not that I'm aware of. The subcontractor, lots of times. So, yeah. Okay, the other projects, the one that is done is the Court Hill Trail. This is the trail renovation from Beach to Scott Boulevard. That is done and reopened. They have started the Iowa River Trail Bridge project, I believe, behind Dairy Queen. It's getting that done. We've awarded the bid last night to get the Mercer Aquatics roof done. So we did the gym roof last year. Now we have funding to do the roof over the natatorium or over the indoor swimming pool. And that's been awarded. That means that Mercer Pool will be shut down towards the end of August for a few weeks. And we'll talk, maybe Brad will update in his update the plans for what we'll do for pool space during that time. And then at Grantwood Elementary, a long requested sidewalk connection is going to go in. It's by the Fair Meadows Park to get for drop-offs there. And that is being paid for through Community Development Block Grant funding.
Do you happen to remember the amount for the Mercer natatorium roof?
No, but I can tell you, I can get it for you. It was just on the agenda last night. I just forgot. Yeah. Pedmal, the playground surfacing got replaced. This was warranty work, so it was closed for about 2 weeks. If you remember, that also had an issue with the old surfacing the black had come up on the playground equipment. That has not yet been fixed. That is still on the contractor to fix that. They're working on finding a company that can do that work, and that probably won't happen till this fall. But the good news is the surfacing is in. It appears to be a much better install than we had the first time. We're confident, pretty confident that's going to work well. And then the equipment will be addressed yet this fall, not at city cost, so that's good. We have a lot of other facility projects happening at the senior center. All of the majority of the exterior doors and windows are going to be replaced. All the materials are on order and the project is under contract, so that will happen this fall. That's a big project because it's a historic building. Everything done on the outside has to match the old sense of the building. We're also out to bid on climate action or climate control for the senior center. So right now, if you've been in that building much, it's either way too hot or way too cold, and probably the same in one room to the next. They have a lot of issues with keeping the HVAC controlled. So we're out to bid to get an updated system for that. Our staff worked with the animal shelter to get a new generator in place. So that means at the animal shelter now, if they lose power, they'll still keep air conditioning and heating, which actually they had not been able to do. So that's important if their facility is full of animals when that would happen. Working on a roof that's leaking at Fire Station 2. Third floor of City Hall, that renovation is complete and the staff has moved back in. Ashton House roof is complete. Terry Trueblood, we've awarded a contract for the H2O building and the Lodge building to get stained. Seems like a simple project, but it's something that should have been done a while ago. It's just taken a while to find a contractor. It's actually quite involved. It's something that we'll get on the schedule now to do about every 5 years to keep those buildings in good shape there. And then we painted the lower level here in this building right at the end of the budget year.
Julie?
Yeah.
How come that the first group of projects fall under Parks and Rec?
Yeah, great question, because we are also facility management for the city. So we deal with projects in the senior center, city hall, police stations, fire stations, animal services. We do all the custodial and maintenance tasks for all of those buildings. Yeah. The budgets for those capital projects are not Parks and Rec related. They're separate from our Parks and Rec capital projects, but since our staff manage them, they show up on the list. Yeah, good question.
The exterior doors and windows of the senior center requiring the center to close at all at any point?
Probably in stages, and when they do the doors and windows on the south side or the entrance off of Washington Street, that's probably when it'll impact the most. But it won't be for any long period of time. It'll probably be a day or two here and there. So, yeah. Okay, so those are the projects that are kind of underway. And then we get to our 2026 projects. So these are capital projects that are funded in 2026, but we've actually started design work on a lot of these. First of all, there'll be a new trail section along Highway 6 from Broadway to Fair Meadows. Napoleon softball fields, fields 5 through 8 will get renovations along with some of the trails through that area, hopefully. And that's in design. We are working with a consultant on that right now.
Is that related mostly to like dugouts and backstops and?
Yeah, I'll let Tyler maybe explain what's all in there.
Yeah, so those don't have lids, so room on the backstop, so it's adding those. It is regrading infields, outfields, and putting in drainage, because those don't have drainage, the other 4 do. And it is fixing ADA access on paths, and hopefully as many paths as we can do in there as well with that amount of funding.
Good deal.
North Market Square is playground renovation. We are already in talks with the school district, though, because that playground is largely used by the elementary school next door. So they will be contributing some money on that one. Working on acquiring this retention basin area on the far west side of the community, what will likely be called Carson Lake. Palisades Park is a small area on the north side. It's a park dedication that we've been waiting years to get. It appears that we may get it soon, and then a small park we built in the neighborhood that's up there. So it is close, we hope.
Julie, is the
Yeah.
retention basin on Parks and Rec budget?
Technically, yes, but yes and no. It's actually it's an engineering project at this point because it's stormwater retention. But as it's constructed, it'll end up being a facility similar probably to Terry Trueblood Recreation Area. So it will become Parks and Rec as it's completed many years down the road. Yeah.
Where exactly are both of those two, Carson Lake and Palisades?
Okay, so Carson Lake is, I may have to have staff help me with the directions here, far west.
North of Menards, west of 218, and south of Rurick.
So it's outside of city limits even at this
It's
point.
currently outside, yeah. And
that-
then,
Is that like Dane Road or something? Or,
not exactly. I don't think, there's not currently a road that runs through there. It's mostly farm fields right now. And Palisades is in the Palisades subdivision, which is behind the old Hy-Vee on North Dodge, off of Dubuque Road there.
The next one, oops, I skipped one. City Park shelters and restroom replacement. We are in design for this. It actually got pushed, so we are working on it right now because the electricity changes that are happening with the City Park pool affect the shelters up there, so that is changing at the same time. And then we'll have park paving. We're going to be able to pave the parking lot at Mercer Athletics. So that project is happening right now through the school district, getting the baseball, softball fields built over there, and then the parking lot will get replaced next year. It's got lots of potholes and whatnot right now. And then we have annual money that we can do for smaller projects and tree plantings in 2026. Both the 2025 and 2026 CIP projects are pretty well set. You probably won't see much changes in these happening. We're already under contract for design of these things. Everything I talk about from this point on, though, 27, 28, and 29, probably will get shuffled around and moved a little bit, just so we're that. Oops, I forgot, it's a few more here. Columbarium, expanding at the cemetery, places niches for cremains at the cemetery. We're running out of space, so we'll get it basically doubled in space. We have money to replace the roof, not the entire roof, but the parts of this roof on this building that need to be replaced. Elevator improvements at City Hall. And then Senior Center Phase 1 improvements in 2026 is interior work. Still be determined exactly what that will be, probably related to the kitchen and the area on the main floor around the kitchen area at the Senior Center. And then the pedestrian mall fountain, knock on wood, it's been working really well this summer, but it actually has quite a few structural issues that we need to get fixed. So we'll be working on a kind of a overhaul of the ped mall fountain for next summer.
The cemetery, could you repeat that part? You said they're
So-
expanding the land?
No. Just the, right now, a columbarium is the place where they put the cremains. So it's a wall.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, there's a couple of them out there. This would expand and build another structure for people to have cremains placed in. So, yeah. Okay, 2027, a trail project south of West High School. It's just a renovation of that trail project. We have a small shelter that needs to be replaced at Mercer by the playground. One of our it's pretty highly used. And then our Park and Tree Annual Improvement Fund. And we have $50,000 that's meant for smaller projects here in our rec centers. So that is in that budget. And then in this building, the structural cables. So the building was built and then it wasn't quite structurally sound, so they added these cables after the fact. You can see them in the pool, you can see them in the lobby, and they need to be, some of them need to be replaced. So that's a project that'll happen in 2027. The roof first and then the structural cables. Did you have a question? No? Okay. Yeah. Really? 2028, we have Benton Hill Park renovations. And that one's been moved around a couple different times, so we'll be glad to get it done. There's only a few parks that we haven't touched yet in this round of renovations, so Benton Hill is one of them. Another trail section, Highway 1, and then the tree improvements. Adding a UV disinfectant systems to both of the indoor pools, so it's an extra thing above and beyond the chlorination that we do for the pool water to make it clearer and more safe.
We both for Mercer and here?
Yep. Classroom and lobby repairs over at Mercer in 2028. The general public or annual improvement fund for this building. And then another phase of the senior center interior improvements. Yet to be determined once again for what the priorities will be. I think it depends on how much they're able to fund with the phase 1 improvements.
The classrooms at Mercer are more in need of repair than, say, here?
Yeah. Yeah. And then 2029, we have $200,000 for an trail project. It hasn't been determined where that will be yet. I think it'll depend on the condition of our bridges and trails at that point. Reno Street Park will be renovated in 2029. Parks Maintenance will get a storage facility. I think we're going to place it out at Kickers is the plan. Right now, the Kickers facility will just be a cold storage building for equipment. Harlech Hill is a very small park. Get the playground replaced there. And then do the parking lot at Scott Park and our general tree and park improvements fund. And then
What kind of surface is that at Scott Park?
it's kind of a mishmash. The part by the dog park is paved. It got paved last year, the year before. The rest is more of a seal coat, gravel seal coat.
And it
Yeah.
would it just be doing that again?
Oh, no, it would be actually getting it paved, getting it
And I assume that's the same with the earlier one with Mercer?
with Mercer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was looking at the price, just trying to think,
Mercer's asphalt, and I think it would be asphalt again at Mercer.
will it?
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
I don't think we've determined for Scott Park if it'll be asphalt or if it'll be concrete. It just kind of depends there. They're What it is there currently is not something that's like a standard thing, so it hasn't held up as well as another surface would. It's kind of a cross between gravel and asphalt right now.
Got it.
Okay, so those are kind of the good news things, the things that are in the budget and we expect to get done. There's a whole list of things that are not funded, and I just want to make you aware of some of these not funded things yet. The first one is Oak Grove Park renovations. That would be the last of the parks to get renovated out of our 45 to 50 parks. At both Napoleon and City Park Baseball, we've asked for restroom renovation funds as the restrooms are getting older. Riverfront Crossing, we'd like to do a real band shell there, add some storage to the building. We've asked for funding for some additional community garden enhancements at, I think Weatherby was the one we were looking at first. South Hickory Hill will need a shelter replacement eventually. And then we've got new land on the north side of Hickory Hill Park, and that would allow for a new entrance and some new, kind of a new trailhead off of that ground. So that's funding for that. Kickers will eventually need the playground replaced. And then Court Hill Park basketball court renovation is, it's an expensive one, but it's something we would like to get done. So those are things that we've asked for in prior years, and we will probably plug a lot of those into year 4 and 5 as we go through the next CIP thing, especially the Oak Grove Park, because that, like I said, that's one of the last ones to get renovations. So we'll get that one done. There's more.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
For the Hickory Hill Park new entrance, I just thinking like how many entrances there are already. Like, what do you like? Have you done any like? How much more use do you think it will get, or what sort of?
I think that with the housing being developed on that side, I think we'll get a fair number. And we also are somewhat lacking parking. So this would allow us to do a small parking area as well, which I think would be useful. So yeah, we're definitely thinking about that. Probably.
We also envision it as being the easiest entrance for regional visitors to get to off the interstate. That's not some weird way to get there. All the other ones besides First Avenue is kind of intuitive, but the other ones are harder to get to if you don't know where you're going. So I could see it as kind of a hub for drawing out-of-town visitors or visitors from that side of town as well.
Okay, so that's a lot of information. I want you to just have this in front of you, though, and to be thinking about, are there other park projects or facility projects that you're hearing about or that you're wondering about that you don't see on any of these lists that we should be thinking about or asking funding for? We've been following our 2016 Park Master Plan. We're in one of the few cities that can say we've almost fulfilled the entire plan. So we're at a point where we'll be looking at new priorities. So, if you're out and about and you see a facility or something in the park and you wonder, are we going to do something about that? Those are the kind of things we need to really start thinking about.
2016 master plan?
So is it 2016 or 2017? I might be saying the wrong year. 2016 or 17, I can't remember which. Yeah.
I think it was approved in 17, so it started in 16.
Yeah, so it's almost 10 years old. We will be asking for funding in our operating budget again to have a new master plan made so we can plan for the next 10 years of projects.
2022?
I'm sorry, what?
Is there a master plan in 2022?
There was a recreation. So we did it. We've done this in several parts. So the park master plan done back in 16, 17 just looked at the active areas of the park system. That was followed pretty closely after that with a natural areas plan, which then looked at all the natural areas like Hickory Hill Park and Terry True Blood and Ryerson's. Which was followed by a tree inventory, which was then followed by the recreation program and facility master plan. So we actually have 4 major planning documents that a lot of cities will combine those all into one. We have 4 separate planning documents for it. So.
One thing I wonder about was the H2O building. I know we're staining it, and then when I go to Terry Trueblood, like, there's no water.
Yeah.
So I just wonder about, like, is kayaking in the future a thing, or are they gonna, can we take a hose over to Terry Trueblood and fill it up, or, like, how does that work?
So the answer is no, we can't fill it up. We've been patiently waiting to see if indeed natural things will refill that lake. I don't know the answer of we'll be able to kayak or not again. We've started having conversations of, if not kayaking, could that become a programming space? Could it become something else? I don't think there's enough traffic to warrant it being a concession operation on its own, unfortunately. But yeah, I think we'll be looking at reuse of that building in the next 2 to 3 years, if something doesn't change soon about the water levels.
Okay, so waiting to see if it, and because maybe if it refills, then they could start doing the kayaking and things again.
Yeah, our original thought was the drought years kind of brought it on, but it isn't refilling either, so we don't really have a good answer for that. It's the same, since you talk about water levels, getting a lot of calls about Thornberry Dog Park right now. The pond at Thornberry has been closed for quite a while due to low water levels. Same thing, we can't just magically go fill it. It's a natural thing. At one point, I think that one was filled by the fire department in some way. They don't have the staffing or the ability to do that anymore, so it's got to fill itself. And we have to just kind of pivot with ideas and uses. Yeah, good question. Other questions about projects or things?
I mean, this is a smaller thing. Maybe it should be new business, but the Globe Theater, the theater in City Park, at Riverside, a lot of our feedback was from patrons was the birds. They're really noisy, and I think maybe they had started renovations but didn't have time to finish them or money to finish it. But if there was some sort of thing we could do to prevent the birds from sitting.
Yeah, I don't remember that being part of our renovation project, but definitely Riverside, have them contact me and we can talk more about.
I think it's come up and,
Yeah, there is more work to be done there.
Yeah.
We had $200,000 that we spent on it in the last round, approximately. And I know the seats need to be replaced and some other things as well, but yeah.
When you prioritize these, is it done at the discretion of the staff? Or is it like a public input setting?
Yep.
How do you do that?
So most of what is in here now was based on the master plans, which had a lot of public input on them back in 2016. Along with, every year we go out and assess how the facilities are faring. And if we have a shelter that's scheduled for replacement in 2027 and we go out and see that there's significant damage, needs to be done sooner, then that's a staff discretion to ask for it to be moved forward. It ends up being somewhat of a baseline to start with the master plans. And then we get into the budget process with all of the other city departments, and a large road project might take a higher percentage of the funds one year than next year, so projects get kind of scooted around based on the overall funding available as well. So it starts with our best laid master plan done with public input. It's then recalibrated or relooked at by staff as we go along, and then in the end, there's some shuffling and that goes around just based on how much money is available. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Julie, that was really interesting. All right, item number 5, report on items from city staff. So Parks and Rec, Julie, do you have anything?
I have a couple quick things. Kind of some more information to come on several of these things. First of all, the state of Iowa law has recently changed regarding open meeting laws, including trainings and penalties for all of you that are appointed to city boards and commissions. The penalties are substantially higher than they had been, meaning that if you go and meet outside of a public meeting and discuss city business, there's ramifications to that. The state is now also going to be requiring a training of all elected and appointed officials. That has not been set up yet for the city, but you will get word about that. We will probably do a commission, just a training for all of you together. And from now on, anyone as they're appointed to a new commission or elected to an office, they'll have to go through this more specific training about that. Bottom line is, don't talk about anything to anyone more than one other commission member at any time outside of a commission meeting. Don't reply all to the emails as we go through all the time. Make sure if we're talking about any kind of city business, it happens in a meeting that's on camera and recorded as you're part of that open meeting law. So more to come on that, but just be aware that it is coming. The council is talking about going out for a vote on a local option sales tax. We will also get more information about this in a month or two. So the loss tax is a sales tax, and they're working on percentages. And right now, about 10% of the money that would be collected would go to public infrastructure, including park projects. A lot of it here will go to property tax relief is 50% of it. Quite a bit of it is affordable housing, and some of it going to nonprofit partner organizations. So watch for more information on that. I think someone from the city manager's office will actually come and do a presentation as well, because it will go out to a public vote yet this fall. And then our Iowa Parks and Recreation Association is the association that all of our staff belongs to. They have recently changed the way that we enroll staff and made it so we now have a larger agency membership. So congratulations, you are all now going to be members of Iowa Parks and Recreation Association. So you may start getting some emails and different things. It's probably nothing more than, I'd like to say it's really exciting, but they've extended our agency membership to boards and commission members. So I think that's yeah, Jeff.
Convention is very interesting to go to. I really appreciated going there, seeing the vendors, seeing Julie do her presentation, seeing Latasha do her presentation. It gives you a whole bunch of information more that I got, especially from the vendors going around to see who's what and doing what, kind of what's on the market for parks and recreation. That was really interesting.
Yeah, that was in the spring. So we have a spring in, I don't remember, I think it might be all the way over in Sioux City this year though, sorry.
Yeah, the next one's in Sioux City, and then it'll be,
Yeah, probably
it'll be back this way after that.
Yeah, it was in Coralville last spring, so
Oh.
that's all I have.
Okay, Brad?
Talk over you here with this microphone. Hello, everybody. All right, so Julie had mentioned the Mercer Park roof replacement project. So that's going to be happening. That bid was just approved yesterday at the council meeting. And so the closure dates that we're looking at for that is going to be, we're looking at August 4th through September 8th. So obviously, it's never ideal timing. August, we get a lot of hot, sunny days, which is going to be a great time for doing a roofing project, because hopefully we don't have as many rainy days there, knock on wood. The school tends to do a lot of projects in June and July, so we typically, that's not as competitive for us to be able to get in and do the roofing projects at that time. And then obviously the later into the year that you go, the more complicated it gets with the weather. The challenge is City Park Pool is closed obviously right now. And with the closure of Mercer, that leaves us one pool remaining. We also have a 28E agreement with the school district for a City High's swim team and the junior high swim team, Southeast. And then also we have the Iowa City Eels utilize as a swim club, they utilize our pool as well. And so with that and the public considerations, we're going to be looking at the pool here and how we accommodate all those different groups as best as we can. So the swim team, their season starts August 11th. So we've informed them. We told them a while back that this was coming down the pipeline. But now we'll be working on what those hours look like to be able to accommodate them, and then also looking at the public side of things and how we can maybe accommodate the public at this pool as well. So this pool will definitely be in use in a variety of different capacities during that time. So We are doing our interviews this week for our program supervisor position for the STEAM, arts, nature education, and camps programs. So that's been exciting to be able to move forward with that. That position, as a reminder, has been vacant since January. And so we got the green light to be able to proceed forward with that. So we're hoping to be able to move forward with that and have that person in the position hopefully sometime in August is our goal. So one of the program areas that has a lot of excitement this last week is under that program supervisor is our pottery program. We've received 2 new kilns, and we got those delivered last week and installed this week with the help of our facilities team. And so I know the pottery students are very excited about that. Summer camp has been going well. We do have 30 kids. We're in week 3 right now of 8. That's over at Mercer Park Aquatic Center where that's taking place. We do have an intern this summer working in our adaptive and inclusive recreation programming. She's a therapeutic recreation student from Iowa, and she's been helping us out with our inclusive aid assistance over at summer camp for those kids that need that additional help. We've been doing some different collaborations with groups this summer. Our staff was involved with the Juneteenth celebration that was down in the South District. We had staff that was helping out with the Arts Festival that happened at the beginning of June. And then we also had staff doing Strider bikes, pedal cars, and then also helping the roller derby team with the skates for the downtown district block party that happened a couple weeks ago here. So we've been staying busy with a lot of different things and kind of looking forward to a smooth rest of the summer, hopefully. Any questions?
What was the name of that position that was open again, the title?
So that's our recreation program supervisor, and then the area of concentration would be STEAM, arts, nature education, and camps.
What is STEAM?
STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and music.
Oh, they've added.
So yes, it's the STEM. It's the STEM that's been, yeah.
When City Park Pool reopens, would the plan is our summer camp's going to go back over to like the astronauts area? I know that's like it's.
Yep, that's something that we're looking at doing. Would be moving that back over to City Park as is going to be a potential site for us. Ashton House will not be because that's become the main hub for our adaptive programming. So City Park Pool will have a community space that's there that will potentially be utilized by our summer camp some of the time. We'll also be looking at rentals of that community space also as part of that pool bathhouse. Yep. Yeah.
I was in the city budget. They said there were only going to be 2 hires in this budget year. How did we get this STEM person coming in?
It's a replacement.
Yeah.
It's a replacement.
Yeah, it's not a new position. Yeah. Yeah, it just had been vacant for a while. They were sorting out a lot of the budgeting things at the state level. And so we were just kind of in a waiting pattern until that could open up. Yeah. Any other questions?
I don't know who I should be asking here, but when is the anticipated completion date for the school district softball field at Mercer?
Do you know what that is?
Spring is completion, final completion, but they are trying to get as much completed this fall as possible to get the turf established so it can get growing because the school district plans to practice on it in the spring.
So first practices will be in the spring.
They should be if everything stays on
Right,
schedule.
got it.
Yeah. And the school district is taking the lead on that project since the bulk of it is theirs. So I'm not as clued in on all the details of the exact dates, but definitely this fall is what they're hoping.
Okay.
For substantial at least.
Sorry to jump your turn there.
No, good. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
There you go, and Tyler.
Okay, well, we covered most of the current projects going on already, so I'll keep it a little bit shorter. We've got just a lot of ongoing summer maintenance that we've been doing. So We all see the grass outside is still green. Not a lot of years where we get into getting towards the middle of July now where we haven't went dormant yet. So lots of mowing. We currently have multiple pieces of equipment that are in the shop trying to get those replaced. So it seems like as we get one back, we lose another one, and doing everything we can to keep the grass mowed with those. We've also been a little bit short on some staff and positions where they were on injury or light duty. So that's impacted us kind of across the board and everything. We just had a position close as well. We had an open position of Forestry Maintenance Worker 1 that closed yesterday, so we're just starting to look through the applications. We had a really good high number of applications and a strong application pool, so that is always a nice promising thing when you get to sort through a lot of good applications. So we'll be doing that and hope to have that individual started as soon as we can get through the hiring process for that. Let's see. Those are kind of the main highlights. You'll see playground install happening either at Lower City Park or at the Adelaide Joy Rogers Park. Our staff is installing that one as part of that. And we're also reinstalling the one that was at Upper City Park by the pool. That's going to be in Lower City Park now. So we're working with the contractor who's on the other project to see which one we do first, but one of those will be starting here really soon. I don't know which one they want to do more, replacing or doing a new one or trying to put one that's partially been taken down and back together and everything. So both will be a little challenging. It's always interesting when you get a new one to figure out all the details on, but I think staff really enjoys putting those together as well. I think those are my main highlights. Any questions on anything Parks or Forestry? Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, so there's no chair's report. Let's go to commission time. And Rachel, do you have anything you want to bring forward?
Yeah, several parents, actually 5 over the past few months, have come to me and asked for more toddler equipment in the parks, as they're just keeping it in mind as we continue the parks renovation. I know the North Side Park, you said that it's in conjunction with
North Market Square, right? Yeah.
Anyway, perhaps just letting them know that is on people's minds, and there are people who
Okay.
it would go to use. It wouldn't be a waste. And that's all. Oh, wait, yeah. I've been going through stuff in my dad's old house, or my house too now. And I found this blue banner from Iowa City Recreation Division. So this is probably from '83 or something like that. Anyway, it says Participant Swim Fest. So apparently they give away awards even back then for not committing. Very cool. I just thought it was kind of cute. That's
Nice.
Sure. Thanks, Rachel. Alex.
I just want to say thank you to the parks staff for being at like all of the events downtown, especially lately. I know every single like Arts Fest and the block party were all incredibly hot, so I appreciate you guys being there and having stuff for the kids to do and all the attendees. That's all for me.
Virginia.
Nothing from me.
Michael, nothing. Caleb, you got anything?
Nope.
Okay. Jeff?
I would just suggest folks look at the budget Julie has. the link
I
for
forgot
that.
to mention
The
that.
city manager's overview is really sobering about the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. If you want to see, go to the city website. If you go to the finance department page, they have all the budget documents. I think you can even see the video of when the city manager gave his presentation about the budget. State changes in the state government and their legislative things are having a big impact on city government. So all that information is there.
I appreciate it too. He gave a history of how we got to where we are economically in relation to the state.
Yeah.
Very helpful. Very helpful. 741 pages, but that's okay.
Light reading for you. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, the only thing we talked last time that maybe we'd bring up this time, wondering about some of the parks like your dad's park or like even Adelaide Joy. Like like having a placard there, like to
Sure.
describe who is Adelaide Joy Rogers and why did we pick her? I think it might be interesting because, yeah, people might be like, who's that? I don't know her.
Yeah, I think that, and that has always been the plan for McPherson Park.
Right, last time I was asking for help, and anyway, Brian came up for editing it and writing it.
Oh, okay.
So,
Okay.
yeah,
They're in
I
the
think
works.
Brian and I are gonna try to work on it.
You guys are good? Okay, awesome. So I don't know if there's money in the budget or whatever, but some of these parks to describe their history or
Sure.
something.
Good
To
idea.
think about. Okay, I think that's it. If there's nothing else, I think we can adjourn. All in favor? Opposed? All right, it's over.
Thank you. Great
You're
job.
welcome.